Here is the uncomfortable truth nobody talks about. Most senior HR professionals will never make it to the executive table, not because they lack talent, but because they are playing a game that no longer exists. If you have been stuck at the same level for more than 2 years, this video will show you exactly why and what you need to do differently starting today. I am speaking to you as someone who coached dozens of HR professionals as leaders through this exact transition, and I have seen the pattern repeat itself over and over. You have built strong employee relations, you have implemented new systems, you have been the trusted advisor to your business leaders. But somehow, when that CHRO roles open up, or when they are creating the VP of people position, your name isn't the first one that comes into mind. In the next 10 minutes, I am going to break down the three invisible barriers keeping you stuck, and more importantly, the specific moves that will position you as an executive, not just a very good HR manager. Let us start with the first barrier, and this one stings. You are still seen as the HR implementer, not the business architect. Here is what I mean. Think about your last three major projects. Were, were they driven by compliance need, an employee issues that escalated, or a request from leadership to fix something? If you are nodding your head, you are operating the reactive mode, and reactive doesn't get you to the executive level. I worked with a HRPP named Maria who was brilliant at her job. She had the best employee engagement scores in the company. She should resolve the most complex employee relation issues, and her business leaders loved her. But when the VP of HR opened up, they hired externally. Why? Because when the executive team looked at Maria, so they saw someone who made HR run smoothly, not someone who shaped where the business was growing. Here is the shift. Executives don't just execute strategy, they create it. They don't wait for problems to solve. They identify opportunities before anyone else sees them. So when you are sitting in the business review meetings, are you just presenting your HR metrics, or are you connecting the talent data to business outcomes in ways that change decisions? When your CFO is talking about expanding into a new market, you you just listening, or are you immediately thinking about the talent architecture needed to make the successful and speaking up with a point of view? The HR professionals who break through start talking about the talent the way CFOs talk about capital. They say things like, based on our turnover patterns in the high growth periods, if we pursue this acquisition, we need to build retention infrastructure 6 months ahead of integration, or we will lose 30% of the value. That's not HR speak. That's business strategy with a HR lens, and that's what we get noticed. In the next business meeting, identify one business goal being discussed and verbally connect it to a specific relevant task or opportunity before the meeting ends. The second barrier is more subtle but just as damaging. You have become really good at managing your function, but you have stopped expanding your influence. Let me explain the difference. Managing your function means you run HR well, Your processes work, your team delivers, compliance is tight, employees generally trust you. That is the table stake. Expanding influence means their executives seek your perspective on decisions that have nothing to do with HR. I see this all the time. You are excellent in HR leadership team meetings. You contribute well when HR topics comes in executive discussions. But when the executive team is debating pricing strategy or whether to shift from the product to platform model or how to respond to a competitor's move, are you silent? Do you think that is not my area? Because that's exactly the moment where future executives are building credibility. Let me give you a real example. I coached an HR named David who worked for a tech company going through a major strategic pivot. In an executive meeting, they were debating whether to sunset an older product line. The CFO and CMO were going back to forth about margins and market share. David spoke up not about HR but about the organization's implications. The team working on the product includes 8 of our most tenured engineers. They have been with us since the beginning. If we shut down this without a thoughtful transition, we are all not just losing the product, we are risking the institutional knowledge that makes our core platform stable. Can we talk about a transition plan that retains the expertise? This intervention changed the conversation. So, thank you very much for watching my video. If you have any suggestions or improvements or any comments, please leave your comments in the comment section. Thank you.